What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of MC Fireside Chats. My name is Brian Searl with Insider Perks. Hi, Mychele. I was just like, we started the intro without you, Mychele. You were behind camera because Jessica didn't hear you beep and come in the waiting room. And so I like turned to Jessica. I'm like, where's Mychele? She's supposed to be here today. She was like, oh, she's right here. I just didn't toggle the switch on to let her in. So welcome to the
That's
show.
okay.
It's exciting here. We're here for our second week of like something that's, I guess, maybe a passion, obsession of mine. Obviously marketing, but also AI. So this is kind of the show that we're going to focus a little bit on those kinds of things going forward. And so we have a couple recurring guests here with us. We're missing Greg Emmer today. He's gratefully super busy with a bunch of clients and couldn't make the show. So he's swamped at his desk, having a lot of success with his new company, Verio. So we're proud of that. And we'll have him back next month, hopefully, if he doesn't get even more busy. But we do have Kurt Wilkins from Our Journey. We have Mychele Bisson. It's Bisson, right?
Bisson.
Bisson.
If you say it crunchy.
That's what I tried to do, and then I had too many S's. Is that what, like, the one of the S's is almost silent, or?
Well,
Anyway.
I just say you say it's snotty. It's Bisson, but we just say it's bison.
Okay, yeah, like everything. That's why I get into this argument with my girlfriend, like, because she's from Canada, and she learned a little bit of French over the pandemic, and so like I don't know any of it, right? But like I like the German language better than I like the French language. I don't know either of them, but when we traveled like right across the border, like German feels like a cooler language to me, whereas everything you say in French just sounds arrogant. It just does. I'm not saying everybody's arrogant. I'm not saying that's the French people. I'm just saying it sounds that way when it comes out of your mouth. Even the English words do.
Oh no, I actually say the same thing to my husband when he says no, because I'm like, no.
Exactly.
Because it just sounds snotty. It's just, I don't know. It's just a weird way that they say
They're
it.
not.
So I
They're
get it.
wonderful people, right? Like
They
nobody's
are.
saying.
They're
Yeah.
beautiful people. Yes.
Anyway, okay. So welcome back, Mychele. And then we have a couple special guests here. We have Kieron and we have Jeremy. So we'll just go around the room real quick, and we want to introduce ourselves. We can start with our recurring guests if you want. Kurt, you want to start?
Yeah, my name is Kurtis Wilkins with Our Journey. We manage and own 43 different campgrounds, and we have been in the industry through different verticals since 2017.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us again, Kurt. Mychele?
My name is Mychele Bisson. I am with Bison Peak Ventures. I feel like I'm kind of the newbie to the group. So we own 6 campgrounds from Alaska to Florida, and we've been in the business for almost 2 years now. And we're just growing our portfolio and learning as we go. So I'm excited to be here and learn from you guys.
Well, we're still learning too, so you might be on the wrong show, but we'll try. And then we have Jeremy. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey guys, my name is Jeremy. I am in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I'm probably truly the newbie here. I just opened my first campground. We've got 80 acres, 40 rustic tent camping sites, and we're on the southern shore of Lake Superior. It took about 5 years to get through the entitlements and permitting process, so I learned a ton. It was quite the journey. But I'm like already ready for the next one. So too soon, you know?
Well, so that's why you're braver than me. I can't ever own a campground. Like I would drive myself shit crazy if I had to go through 5 years of permitting.
Yeah.
Like I would probably end up in a mental hospital somewhere because I would just want to scream at all the counselors and all the permitting people and all the because I'm the entrepreneur. Like I just want it to be done my way. Like I know best until you prove me wrong or ChatGPT does, right? Like I don't really know best, right? But I think I do. So anyway, but kudos to you. I'm excited to talk about your campground and learn about what you've got going on up there. Kieron?
Yeah, my name is Kieron Wilde. I own a company called First Nature. We're a destination management company and tour operator focusing on the West Coast of North America. And I also own a company called Fur Haven, which is a freestanding guest house, kind of like a glamping setup with A-frame cabins in the Columbia River Gorge. And we're the in-house experience provider for a couple of different setups in the Gorge region, including Under Canvas, which you're probably all familiar with, which is just opened up at the end of May out here, and one called Wind Mountain Ranch on the Washington side of the Columbia River Gorge.
Awesome. So experiences for glamping providers, and you own your own glamping too. So excited to talk to you about what some of those offerings are. Before we get to kind of the regular thing, like I've got a couple things I want to talk about today. We're going to dive into a little bit about, just because the theme is AI marketing, I want to talk a little bit about the new ChatGPT agent that was released last week. We're going to take a look at a couple brief videos, see what that's all about, talk about how that's going to impact the future is currently impacting the future of marketing and AI. And then a little about Complexity's comment browser that we released too. But is there anything, Mychele or Kurtis, from your question from last week that you feel like we should talk about?
Mychele, did you catch any of that?
I actually didn't. I was hoping you
I
did.
didn't catch any of it either, Brian. I am so sorry.
No, that's okay. Is my mic? Check my mic, Jessica. Like click.
That sounds better.
Oh, you're back now.
Oh, I just cut in and out. Like, can you hear me really deep, or does it sound like I'm far away?
It sounds
For a
perfect
second,
right now.
It was garbled before.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Anyway, all right. I was just making sure the right
He
mic
was trying
is.
out his German.
Last week I was at a remote cabin trying to do it from my phone, and I ended up being vertical. And then, but the week before, like I had it was like picking up from my webcam all the way over there. So that's how I was making sure that it was like this nice. But anyway, typically we ask our recurring guests, like, is there anything that came across your desk in the last month or so that you guys feel is important for us to bring up? And then I don't know if you caught it, but we're going to talk a little bit about ChatGPT agent and some of those things and how they're going to impact the camping industry. So anything that's come across your guys' desk?
I mean, I feel like we're constantly getting new things across our desk, but I mean, from all kinds of things, from employee issues.
Anything you think that might impact the industry, like that kind of thing, right?
I'm trying to think. I know, like for us, we're going to start really heavily going into using some of the AI stuff. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Okay, very cool. Kurt?
The only thing that's really come off of my desk or came across my desk in the last like 3 weeks has been a lot of acquisition news. I've been seeing a lot of consolidation, big deals, and so that's really interesting. But other than that, a lot of the AI news, right? We've kind of talked about in other episodes, but that's ever evolving, and I'm really excited and looking forward to a lot of integrations there.
Do you want to share any of the secret due diligence numbers behind your potential acquisitions with us?
They're not my acquisitions. They're just deals that are happening in the space.
So like competitive, like you have agents out there spying on everybody else, and you just know.
No, we just have clients, and I know that they're making some big moves.
They do have, like, China has that little like fly that can land on the wall. It's like a bug, like literally a bug. So you can monitor your competitors. Just send it right in there. Have it be a fly on the wall. It's actually a thing. It's actually an invention. So, but interesting. Okay, all right. So let's get to let's briefly talk about our special guests first. I want to make sure we get enough time for them, and then we can dive into a little bit of the agent stuff and the Perplexity browser. So let's start with Jeremy. Jeremy, you said you went through like this 5-year process. So obviously, it's something that was important to you. You're passionate about. How long had you wanted to do it? How did you get in your head that you wanted to start a campground?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say it is important to me, and I am passionate about it. Obviously, spending 5 years opening one project, but the actual idea of opening a campground was kind of a spur of a moment thing. A lot of my background is in residential real estate investing, single family, and a little bit of multifamily. And we were talking about this earlier, but I'm in Marquette, Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula, which is pretty tourism heavy. And right around, pretty much, as soon as the pandemic kicked off, as a residential investor, we went from seeing, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Marquette go for about $180,000 to $250,000 overnight. And now, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the city of Marquette today in 2025 is $400,000. So over 100% increase in a very short amount of time. And, we back in 2020, we kind of came to this point where we're like, man, I don't know if it makes sense for us to be in this residential market right now. The prices just weren't making the math wasn't adding up. And then at the same time, like from a personal perspective, I really didn't like contributing to increased housing and, gentrification of the place I grew up in. And so we came across this 80-acre parcel on the edge of the city It's actually the entrance to our campground is the last parcel in the city of Marquette, which is part of the reason it took 5 years to go through this whole process. We sit in 3 different municipalities. But we came across this 80-acre parcel that would have been impossible to develop housing on. And it just made sense to be a campground. And I thought, like, what a better, cooler way. Like it was this beautiful piece of land that overlooks Lake Superior that nobody had access to. And so I thought, I want to open this up. Even as somebody that grew up there, I had never been up there. So I wanted to open it up to the public, but obviously I had to do it in a financially stable or sustainable way. And then I wanted to diversify my portfolio, if you will, so camping seemed like a fun thing. And on the side, I've worked in the outdoor industry as a guide for probably 15 years. So it was right up my alley along with my 2 partners.
So what was your goal? What was or is your goal with Kona Hills Campground? Like, what are you starting with? What are you, like, just RV sites? Are you going to do some glamping? Or are you going to, like, what's your vision for it?
Yeah. So originally the vision was 3 to 5 cabins. We wanted to go higher end. We wanted to, like, make it, this glamping experience, kind of like maybe like landscape hotel. I hear that thrown around a lot, but we found out pretty early on in our permitting process that the municipality that most of our land is in, they actually, anything more than 2 units for short term, they require you to get a campground license from the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan is one of the few states that actually requires licensing at the state level. And so when we found that out, obviously that kind of changed the economics of the deal. And we ended up saying, let's just get our campground license. And we opened with 40 rustic tent and car camping only spots. We're now going through the process of permitting and raising funds for 7 cabins. 4 of them are below the cliff that we sit on. And then 3 of them are above the cliff with those views of Lake Superior. So as we go on, like the goal is really to continue to develop the property and add additional types of accommodations and amenities, but do it in a way where you're still immersed in nature. And we're not, if you go and look at our Google reviews, almost every one of them mentions, like, I love the privacy. I love that this isn't a parking lot full of RVs. People like being immersed. And so we don't want to take that away. We want to add these accommodations mindfully.
So what were some of the things, and I'm just curious, this is sort of about your campground and sort of about your experiences, because we've talked about this on the show previously. When you talk about the target audience that you currently have, tent campers and car campers, there are a lot of people, in my experience in our industry, that are hesitant to welcome less so tent campers, but more so car campers into their RV parks, let's call it, or glamping establishments, right? Because there's a stereotype, and I don't know if it's entirely unjustified, but in the past or currently, there are, I don't want to say a significant number, a portion of people who car camp who are like long-term seasonals that don't take care of their sites. Or they're in every vertical, right? It just happens to, for some reason, be a little bit more visible with car camping and tent camping, or stick out in the minds more of owners. So what has been your experience with that? Because, like, I push back against this with some of our clients. I had a conversation with one earlier this week where they were talking about how, we're hesitant, we want more business, we don't know where to get it from. And I was talking about some of these niche places that you can open up, like allowing 11-year-old rigs instead of 10-year, or allowing, deluxe tents, or, car camping. And she said the same thing to me. And I said, well, like, I mean, go YouTube. Go YouTube and look at the camping in a Tesla Model Y. It has camping mode, and it has an air mattress that Tesla sells. And, like, these are $90,000 cars that people are tent camping in. And so and she's like, oh, I'd love to have those people. Like, of course you would, right? So I'm curious what your thoughts is and your experiences with this.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, maybe it's just like the age range that I'm in. I'm 36. I'm a millennial. But like truck camping and car camping was like cool for us, and I think, like, when we were going through this permitting process, we got a lot of pushback from our local community about this concept of, like, truck and car camping. They were like, well, we don't want homeless people at your campground. And I'm like, guys, these are $200,000 Sprinter vans we're servicing here. Like, you know, I hear you. Like, everybody's got to be responsible, but like, man, I love it. Like, it's low maintenance, it's low impact on the land. I'm not dealing with a 40-foot RV, and it allows us to be more unique. You know, I mean, our entrance to our campground, like I said, we're 200 feet above Lake Superior. You couldn't get a 40-foot camper up our driveway. We got 9% grades. So to like open an RV park up there is impossible. But now I can have, you know, Sprinter vans that with or even a, you know, an old Ford with a Quigley 4x4 conversion on it. They can make it up that hill, and they can go and find like a super cool remote spot tucked away amongst like the rock outcroppings that we have. Like, to me, that's awesome. I love it. And even like one of my neighbors, who came to our grand opening, our ribbon cutting, you know, he kind of refused to see the project. He was against it, this whole homeless concept. And when he came up for that ribbon cutting and saw what we did and saw the people that were coming up there, he came up to me afterwards and he was like, you know, I just want to say this has been a long process, but you guys did a great job. This looks amazing, and we're happy to have you as a neighbor. Like, that was a great moment for me.
It is interesting to me. Like, we have another podcast that I do called Outwired after this. And 2 weeks ago, we took last week off. We did a show about the 1975 to 2025 and the evolution of camping and the different types of, you know, pop-up trailers they had and rigs and all kinds of things. And it was quite fascinating to learn about. And today we're going to do 2025 to 2075 and give some kind of crazy predictions. But it is really interesting to me to kind of learn about, like, I'd love to do a show, I think, on Outwired about how we evolved to be the industry we are today. Specifically with, I mean, I know there's a good reason behind it, right? I just don't know what it is because I haven't researched it. But it would be interesting to see, why were many RV parks built the way they were, with sites so close together and so narrow, and like they were obviously built for a certain type of rig, but why did they not emphasize more tent camping or more car camping or more nature experiences? Or I'm sure it was built for a specific type of audience, the people we call boomers today, who were obviously not boomers back then. But it would be fascinating thing to understand how we got to where we are, because I think that the future of where we are going is still RVing, is still car camping and tent camping and all of the above and glamping and everything else. But I think it's a whole lot more of nature and experiences. And we've seen that people are demanding this stuff, and Marriott's getting into the game. But I think it's way more of that. And I don't think there's a clear guideline blueprint for many park owners out there. Certainly people like Kurtis, you own multiple parks. Mychele, you own multiple parks. You can look at this and you can step back and see what works well one other place and doesn't another, right? And you have key takeaways. But I don't think there's a really good blueprint for how do I build an RV park that's not a typical RV park.
Yeah, I don't know that there is either. And I've actually had people tell me, you know, they're like, you know, some of these modular units, whether it's like you know, the zoot cabins or the what is it, oud houses, you know, some of those people that sell those are like, oh, you know, like, we don't actually want our units to be located next to tent sites because we feel that it devalues that property. And I just don't know that I believe that personally. I'm like I'm the new guy. This is my first campground, but like, from my experience and my customers and the way our park is set up, like, you could be at a zoot cabin in the north corner of our property and there could be a tent camper and you'd never cross paths, you know. Like, I think those experiences can go hand in hand more than people realize. Now, you know, if you put a oud house in the middle of an RV park, that might not work, right?
Well, that's the thing. I think that's what they're talking about. They're talking about a stereotypical RV park. They think you're going to put it literally right next to a tent site with a paved gravel driveway and right, or something like that. And so I don't think that they have your park in the picture of their head when they're saying no to you. I also think it depends on the landscaping and how you design the park and things like that. I'm curious, for the people here who are looking at maybe I want to offer tent camping in the future. Maybe I want to open myself up to a little bit to car camping. How do you market to those people and find them?
So I'm lucky. I have what I call inherent demand. I'm 40 minutes away from Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, which sees 1.2 million visitors every year. I am the closest. I'm the only privately owned campground in the city of Marquette. It's just my entrance that's in the city, and then the rest of the campgrounds in Sands Township. And like there's 2 privately owned campgrounds, maybe 8 miles away from me. And Marquette sees 1 million visitors every year between summer and winter tourism. So I also have a background in SEO and digital marketing. So
Okay.
I list on Google. I don't list on HipCamp. I did. It was too much of a pain. I don't list on,
Can I ask why?
honestly, the back end of HipCamp has not been the easiest to work through, and it's really hard to set expectations across multiple platforms. I think channel managers are more popular in the Airbnb space, even in the hotel space. But like, I use Park, if anybody's familiar with that, for my reservation manager, which is a great team, relatively new company. But there's not a lot of channel managers for tent camping, and so there's just too much confusion with setting expectations. Like we're a self-service campground too. We don't have a check-in center, and so I need to be able to communicate effectively with my customers via email and SMS. And HipCamp just didn't quite allow for that to happen. So we, after maybe 3 or 4 weeks, we delisted from being able to book on HipCamp and all these other platforms. And I mean, we're 100% direct bookings at this point. So for me, it's just all about making sure I show up when people Google camping near me or camping in Marquette, and then Google reviews. I think now we're up to 36 reviews, and we've got an average rating of 4.9 stars on Google. I'm the only other park that ranks above me has 600 plus reviews, but I'm right behind him. So it's just about visibility.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate. Is there anything we missed talking about that you want to throw in there about Kona Hills? Like, we want you to join the conversation as we keep going along. But
yeah, no, I mean, if you haven't been to the UP, I would highly suggest it. It's a lesser known gem. Kieron said he's been there because he grew up in Wisconsin, but not a lot of people make it up there, and I love it, and I'm glad that I get to represent it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, Jeremy. And as we can keep going and we talk to a few other, we talk to Kieron and we talk about AI and all the things, like if you have anything to say, please jump in, just ask questions, feel free.
Yeah. And I don't mean to discount HipCamp. Great platform. And if you are getting started in tent camping and like I'm in Southeast Wisconsin right now. I stayed at a HipCamp 2 nights ago because guess what? Everything in Southeast Wisconsin is RV parks. And I don't want to stay in an RV park. I wanted privacy. So I booked at a HipCamp, and the HipCamp, most of them down here are 1 to 4 sites. Amazing for that. But when you get scale, like, I'm trying to own my customer relationships. I don't really like dealing with marketplaces and having that intermediary. I want to talk directly to my customers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know Alyssa. I've known her for years. It's a great company. And I frequently tell people to list on HipCamp too. Like if you're in a good position like you are, where you already have the built-in demand, it's a little bit of an easier trade-off, right?
Totally.
But if they're not charging you, like we went through this with a couple sites where people were asking me this, I think last week, where do I list? How much do I pay? All these people want money from me. And my stock answer is without looking at them individually, if they're trying to charge you a monthly fee without guaranteeing they're going to deliver anything, don't do it. But if they're willing to charge you a percentage, then really there's no harm, as long as you are doing, other than the, once in a while the problems like you're talking about that you run into that maybe it isn't a good fit for your park. There really is no harm to putting yourself out there, as long as you're doing your own marketing and still trying to drive your own traffic, because you don't want to pay that 12.5% forever.
Yeah.
And the person I was talking to didn't have online reservations. So I said, like obviously you need something, but get your camp spot or your new book or your Res Nexus or whatever up. And do that stuff first. So. But yeah, Kieron, how you doing there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you in what are you in right now? You said you're in your van. It's a nice van. It looks like it.
I'm in one of our Mercedes.
See, I can't even afford a Mercedes.
Jeremy probably sees a lot of converted into campers, but this is a passenger van.
Kurtis, will you buy me a Mercedes Sprinter van so I can do the show from it?
Oh, maybe Brian. Come down to Washington. We'll see what we can find.
Kieron, tell us about First Nature Tours.
Sure. So yeah, first and foremost, it's industry speak, but we call ourselves a destination management company for the West Coast. So what that kind of means is we package experiences together with accommodation, attractions, all those things and we often sell them to tour operators that are sending people from other places to this destination, especially the Pacific Northwest region of North America, like Alaska down to like San Francisco. And we have our own guides, we have our own sprinter vans, and we're working on our own hospitality component as well. But I've been in the industry for about 18 years now, focusing on the Pacific West. And I saw a need for hospitality components, especially in the Columbia River Gorge, but selling the region at large, where those kind of like opportunity spots exist. So that's kind of why we decided to get into hospitality as well, not just like operator, exciter component, but also like a
So how do you end up going? I mean, obviously 18 years is a long time. I've been in business 16 years. Like everybody seems to think I'm an overnight success, but I spent 16 years doing it, and I'm sure you spent 18 years doing it too. And Kurt and Mychele, well, Michelle's just getting started. You're only at 2 years, and you're already at 6 parks. You're going to be at like 800 by the time you have 16 years in.
That's going to take a lot of systems in place.
Well, that's all right. Systems are going to get easier with AI. We're going to talk about that on the show.
So I hope so.
But like, talk us through the story of how do you get started with this, and then how do you grow to be? You said you're a vendor for Under Canvas, right? Which is probably a highly competitive and sought after position.
Yeah, well, I mean, just being around long enough and knowing the right people is 9/10 of it. So, like I said, 18 years of industry experience, focusing mostly on the West Coast. We know the right people. There's not a lot of people that do the kind of higher end luxury type travel, custom private experiences that we do. So there's not a ton of competition in that realm, honestly, where we are. And I physically relocated. Me and my family moved out to the Columbia River Gorge, the National Scenic Area, about 2 years ago. So, we're just the natural fit for Under Canvas out there. Under Canvas, talking about permitting and like barriers politically and legally to getting these kind of things off the ground. I mean, they struggled for many years to try and get that location approved. And I think they still have ongoing litigation going on with some nonprofits in the area. And we've run into our own roadblocks trying to do the Fur Haven project where we are. We bought 20 acres, thinking because it was a conditional use allowance for campgrounds, and then found out that there's like some fine print somewhere in there that the conditional use requires some kind of a natural feature, which was very vague to me, or else a hunting and fishing ground adjacent to it in the county that we're in. So, I don't know what that means, but we basically bought 20 acres adjacent to where our house is, and then found out that we couldn't, at least without a ton of probably litigation and many years of what Jeremy went through before we could actually get off the ground. So we found a property that was already permitted that used to be a Thousand Trails property, which is kind of like a KOA.
Yep.
And so we found one out here that had been purchased by somebody who was using part of the property for a totally different usage. And it had a fire go through and burn down like pretty much all the infrastructure, but it still had like all of the like level, perfect little spots already set up. So, that's kind of actually worked out really well, because then, we're actually able to just pay a land use fee, per booking for the spots that we use when we use them, and we don't have to own the land outright, and it's already has historical usage as a campground. So that was kind of a win-win in the end, and it allows for a lot more capacity, like if we want to like grow and expand, because right now we're really in the early phases of getting units built and kind of taking group business on a case-by-case basis for like summer camps, corporate retreats, that kind of stuff.
So what's your vision of it when it's in, let's say it's mid stages? Where do you see it going if you have everything go the right way?
So the focus that we have is really on the mobility of these units. They're basically on a trailer, but unique in the sense that they're an A-frame. and very very simple but very elegant styling. And they can, the key part of that is they can be moved. It's not a permanent structure. So, if the relationship with the landowner changes, we find a different location to move them to. And like in the long run, what I see is finding places that are attractive seasonally and have that demand for overnight accommodation, and being able to relocate them to those places. And we saw that happen with the 2017 eclipse here. A big event like that, where all of a sudden you have literally millions of people coming to rural places in a state like Oregon that, in rural areas does not have the infrastructure to handle that many people. Yeah. You can find a landowner, put like 12 of these units on it, like move them over to where they need to be. And then, you've got a instant hospitality setup, and you build the experiences around that, which is what we specialize in. And you can meet some of that need at least, and make a lot of money doing it, because there's a huge demand for those kind of things, concerts, all that kind of stuff.
Well, and I'm told that anything on wheels, and I'm not an accountant to be clear, but I'm told anything on wheels is now a wonderful tax deduction due to a new law we have in the United States. So, or you guys have in the United States. Yeah. So depreciation and all those kinds of things. So whether you like it, or whether you like the man or don't like the man, we'll all pay a little bit less taxes, probably, right? Yeah, I'll get on board with that. Yeah. So tell me about some of your experiences. What are some of the things that people can expect if they go to an under campus, or go to your campground, or go to some place that you service? What are some of the experiences that they can look forward to that your company offers?
So in the region we are.
We're losing you a little bit, Kieron. I don't know if you hop back in your van, but you started breaking up a little bit. We'll see if you come back in a second.
Oh no, I was really interested in that.
I was as well.
Oh, there he is. He might be back. You're back, Kieron. Are you back?
There we go.
Okay.
Could you?
No, you were just breaking up a little bit. So did you hear my question?
The question, and I was trying to answer it. I can restate it if you can hear me now.
Yeah,
I think we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. So to answer your question, this region is really diverse, similar to, like, I'd say New Zealand, in that we can go from the ocean to like rainforest on the coast to 14,000 foot high snow-capped peaks that are snowy year round, to high desert that gets 10 inches of rain a year, sagebrush. We have all that within a day's drive. It's pretty crazy, and a world-class wine country in the Willamette Valley and in the Yakima area in Washington. So, there's a lot you can do in the gorge, in the Columbia Gorge. Thousands of miles of hiking trail, and the highest concentration of waterfalls in North America are both huge attractions. We also have a really good whitewater rafting out there, and people come from all over for steelhead fishing. So, and we have great skiing, world-class skiing up on Mount Hood. So it's pretty diverse what you can do, and it's definitely a 4-season destination.
So your company will help people like plan those experiences? So they take them on guided tours, or what do you?
Yes, and yes. Yeah, we handle a lot of B2B, like I said, where we'll actually create tour packages for other tour operators or for travel agents that have kind of VIP client where they want everything very white glove and like touchdown to takeoff, everything handled. We also will do, like, for Under Canvas or some of the other hospitality. We have a partnership with the Ritz-Carlton here in Portland, where we'll do like bespoke packages that they can sell to their guests that are very unique and tailored to their brand. And then corporate events, team building, school groups. I mean, we kind of do it all. We have different divisions that kind of handle different things.
So you're obviously targeting the high end, but what do you think, in your words, kind of sets your company apart from the other people who offer experiences? I know you said your market's limited at the high end, but just from an experiential standpoint.
It's not necessarily limited to high end, but it is all about the having unique experiences that you can't just easily access on your own. So that's that destination knowledge that we bring to the table. Our team is like highly trained. Our guide quality is, above and beyond pretty much anyone in the region. So we're offering like that really, really high level of knowledge that can take you places that you couldn't find on your own, at least not very easily. And, we also are very committed to sustainability. We won a global award last year for our commitment to regenerative tourism and to promoting like socially conscious events, LGBTQ events around the region. Like, we're really committed to making a positive impact through tourism. And I think that's worth mentioning as well. And probably one of the things that sets us apart the most is that commitment.
Mychele and Kurtis, you've both been uncharacteristically quiet, I feel like, for the show. But I want to make a couple questions here. So I'm curious what you think about the experiences overall. Like, if you have questions for Kieron, if you have questions for Jeremy, ask that stuff. But I'm curious, too, what you guys think of the overall. We've talked a lot about on the show, not necessarily with you guys, but about how experiences are the future. And I feel like there's just this huge overlooked opportunity for not all campgrounds, but for a large majority who aren't thinking about how I can go that extra mile to curate the guest experience, whether it's through a company like Kieron or whether it's just through, like we were talking about, somebody adding little store kiosks around the park. So the kids run up there and say, like, Mom, I want the little candy that's behind there. And they see it 10 times during their stay. They're going to get that candy. Yeah. They will by the end of it. So you're going to sell more store items, right? Or the QR code by your pool that they can pull up on their phone and they can order a floaty for their kid who just got in. They're not going to pull them out and go to the store, right? So I feel like there's a lot of missing opportunity there that it sounds like small dollars, but I feel like it adds up to big dollars.
I know, like, for me, I have to say that one of the best things that I like about the whole campground industry is that there's so many different things and there's so many different ways and it's so diverse and they all work. And I think that's amazing. Like Jeremy with his vision and all the things that he's got going on there. Like, it's not just let's go to an RV park. It's like, let's go and like camp out next to a rock. Like, I love that you can do that and it works and people love that. And there are people who look for that, as there are people who are looking for tent camping and people looking for RV camping. And I love the fact that, like Kieron's created this whole experience thing where people can go out and have these full-on experiences, but those things all work within the campground industry. And that's like just why I love this industry so much. I mean, I came from an investor background too. I actually started in single family homes, started with long-term rentals, moved into short-term rentals, then built a luxury resort in Scottsdale, which I'm actually, I still own it. But when I moved into the RV industry, it was, look at all the different avenues that we can go down and we can create all of those experiences, but we can do them in one asset class. And that was kind of the fun of going into this, was that it was just, there's so many different things we can do. And every single one of our parks is completely different from another park. And that I love too. I mean, our Alaska park is literally, it is kind of like a parking lot. But the thing is people don't go there for that park. They go there for the experience of everything that surrounds that park. And we just play that up. And so it's just, you can sit in the middle of our park and see 6 glaciers. We don't have the glaciers inside of our park, but you get access to all of them because you stay here.
Yeah. Well, you have to have a pretty big park to have a glacier inside it, but
right, I know, but it's actually the largest park in Alaska. But it's just, when you look at it, it looks like a parking lot. But how many of those people are there? None of them. They're all out exploring the beauty that is Valdez and like hiking or mountain biking or out fishing for halibut. And so we will actually have the fishermen bring everything back and we'll do fish fries on the campground once a month. And it's just a great experience of all these people creating this community with people they wouldn't know anywhere else. And that is one of the things that I love above like my resort in Scottsdale is I don't know anybody who stays there, but I can tell you about Gene from Iowa who comes and hangs out with me in Branson.
Yeah. I kind of skipped over this. I touched on it briefly, but my park is that we see, again, 1.2 million visitors to Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, which has cruises and tours and all that stuff, and then another million to Marquette. And one of the things that we're working on right now in addition is so the 200 feet above about 7 acres of our property is an old rock quarry that used to go all the way to Lake Superior. And so that rock quarry is a straight 90-degree vertical, 200 feet up and 250 feet wide. And Kieron, you might be familiar with this, but we have in Munising on Pictured Rocks, we have Michigan Ice Fest, which is the largest ice climbing festival in North America, and it's been going on for 25 plus years.
Nice.
You can only climb. People from all over the world come to climb ice on the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore for 2 weeks out of the year, and you can only climb it 2 weeks out of the year. And there's been over 25 years. There's this community that has developed, and people want to climb more. And so we now have this cliff that you could climb. You know, it's winter 6 months out of the year in the UP. You could, instead of 2 weeks, you could be climbing for 6 months, and we could be artificially farming ice. So when you look at like a Sandstone, Minnesota, you look at an Ouray, Colorado, you look at Peabody's down in Lower Michigan, where they're farming ice on a telephone pole. Like, those are the types of experiences that we want to curate going forward. And even mountain biking too. I mean, we sit directly behind the NTN Trail Network, which is one of the largest trail networks of single track in the Midwest. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's the most mileage of single track east of the Mississippi.
Okay.
I think the only trail system with more is out west. So that's huge for us. And I don't know if any of you guys are familiar, but like Bentonville is a huge inspiration to what we're doing. And we have in Copper Harbor, a few hundred miles away from me, just north, we have Rock Solid Trail Building Company, which is the largest trail building company in the world at this point, with over 250 employees. That's owned by Aaron Rodgers, who's like a crazy, amazing, visionary guy. But like, that's been
not the quarterback who held out on the Steelers, right?
Not the quarterback. Yeah, not the quarterback.
Oh,
That's
I was
what
thinking of the
jumped into my
quarterback.
mind, for sure.
No, you know what? Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, is an interesting guy, but Aaron Rodgers, the trail builder, might be more interesting.
I'd probably agree with you.
Yeah, look up Rock Solid if you guys haven't heard of it. But like, that's the stuff that gets me excited in the long run, is being able to like offer rock climbing in the summer, ice climbing in the winter, single track all year round, fat tire biking in the winter. Like, I can't wait for that stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Kurtis, you have anything to add?
Well, I wanted to just kind of piggyback one on Kieron. I love another Pacific Northwest guy getting on the show. Can't shout out the Columbia Gorge. Our company, we always say it's the best kept secret of the United States is the Pacific Northwest, especially with the Columbia River Gorge. And then Mychele, again, piggyback kind of off of what you were talking about, like unique experiences for each one of our campgrounds. That's one of my favorite parts about our campgrounds is each one is so different, right? You can go, we start off like we have the coast, the Pacific Coast, right, with Canana, and that park has a very unique clientele. They're very different than the people that stay with us. Excuse me. By the way, I am having terrible allergies right now, Brian.
Are you allergic to me, or is it something else?
I am allergic to pollen, but specifically like grass and trees.
And you're in campgrounds.
And I was just about to say that.
And I'm in campgrounds. I love the outside. I grew up camping, so I put up with the allergies. But I just wanted to warn you. So
Totally fine.
I'm running out of breath sometimes, and that might be why I'm abnormally quiet today. We also, I don't know if anyone knows, but there's a giant fire outside of our office. It's actually like 45 miles southwest of us.
I did not know
so,
that. Like, is it moving fast? Do they have it under control? Or?
Yeah, they're going to get it under control. There's 40 miles between us. It's just tons.
Where's your office?
We're in Goldendale, Washington.
Oh gosh, you're so close to me. I didn't realize that.
I know. I was like, Kieron, I think you're in
Bourdain. No, I'm in Mosier.
I was guessing.
The Bourdain. You're talking about
You're
the
in
Bourdain
Mosier.
fire. That's yeah.
Yeah.
I'm way closer to that than you are. I'm 5 miles from that fire. 5 miles.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, Mosier was just on fire.
Yes, it was.
Wasn't it? Like,
Which makes me feel better about this fire, because if it jumps the river, there's nothing left to burn.
Yeah, that's so tough to deal with. Like, we're up here, like I'm up here in Calgary, and my girlfriend's parents have a cabin. I was at it last week on Lake Shuswap, but we were dealing with that for like a couple years up here in BC. Like, we still have some fires up here, but thankfully, like once in a while, like probably 2-3 days out of the year, the whole city of Calgary will get like really smoky during the summer. and then it just goes away. We were pretty lucky, but we've had to deal with that. Like we had to almost evacuate, I think 2 years ago, from our cabin, because there's like you have to go down a road, like 45-minute dirt road to get to the cabin. So like that's the only way out. So if the fire's all the way up here, even if it's 45 minutes away, you got to get out anyway. But yeah, it's tough to go through that stuff. I'm glad you guys are safe.
Yeah.
So far.
All right. Do we want to talk about AI, or do we have any other questions for Jeremy or Kieron that we want to do, or a little bit?
I mean, Kieron, I would love to talk to you outside of this podcast.
Like, drive over. Like you could probably be there by the time the show's over. Kieron, you're in your van.
I'm probably gonna drive over there. Come see
I'm
you.
in Portland right now.
Jump in the van.
Yeah, let's do it. Come to Hood River. We'll have a beer and go rafting.
I like Portland. Portland used to be one of my favorite cities in the U.S. And I say used to be because I feel like it was just different, like 6 or 7 years ago. But it's still a really nice city.
It's definitely still really awesome. But yeah, it had a little.
Yeah, the breweries and the food were my top 2 things in Portland. And the little bookstore, like the giant bookstore.
Powell's, yeah.
Powell's, yeah.
So
Bend is my favorite. I love Bend.
Which one?
Also very cool.
Bend, Oregon.
Bend.
Three Sisters Wilderness, unreal.
Yeah, I've been up along the coast there, and I'm trying to remember. Well, we're at the border there with California, right? What's that big, huge, deep lake there? I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Crater Lake?
Crater Lake, yeah.
Crater Lake?
Or the Shasta, too, is down there by the border.
Yep. Yeah, there's a ton of beautiful places. I'd love to get there more. But, like, I also am super spoiled and 45 minutes from Banff, so there's a lot of competition for my attention up here. So I'll try to get down there.
Canada. You have plenty of nature on your side of the border. I want to come up there and see some stuff.
Yeah, we've got we're definitely spoiled up here. So all right, let's talk about AI for a second. Last 13 minutes of the show. Jessica, there's a couple of videos that I have. We probably won't get to all of them. I want to start with let's start with the research one. Do the research one instead of the intro. Hopefully it will be okay. This is ChatGPT Agent. This is, you have to share your screen. And then they released this last Wednesday. OpenAI announced this. So like before we play this, and you can hit share, but before we play this, I just want to set the preface by saying, like, for those of you who don't know what an agent is something that can basically take action on your computer and do something using a tool. So like send an email or check your calendar or book an appointment or like search for something without you telling it every step of the way to do that certain thing, to follow up, to do more. And these have been out for the geeks like me who play with AI. These have been around for 2 years probably. They've gotten significantly better. But this, as far as last week, was the first time that ChatGPT or another company really fully dumped this on probably tens of millions of people. I don't think it's available on their free subscription, but it's available, I think, on the $20 a month Pro Teams plans, and then it's available on like the one that I pay for. That's like $200 a month or whatever. It's limited in use right now, but this is where our future is going. So let me play this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
So we have been on this journey of like not just improving our models, but the tools the model can use, and it's kind of like a symbiosis of some kind. Like, the better the tools are, the better the agent can use it. The better the agent is, the more powerful tool it can use, and it like goes on and on. I'm Devashish. I'm an engineer, and I work on the product team in OpenAI. People in their daily lives, at work or in like personal life, they use like a variety of tools, and we are just training the model to take advantage of all of these things. And you're just giving the agent as much power as possible. Today, I asked agent to book me an itinerary to go to a tennis tournament in like Palm Springs next year. Find me an itinerary that works around the semifinals, because that's going to be really exciting. And the agent is basically going to give me like a detailed itinerary of like how much it's going to cost, what activities we should be doing at every part of the day. And in order to give it additional spin, we also asked it to like look at my calendar and figure out like what flight times would work for me. My dream has come true. I just tell it what to do, and then I can walk away. First thing the model has to do is like figure out like which tools does it need. It'll bring up the visual browser. I use connectors to connect my personal data. So I give agent access to my Gmail and my Google Calendar so that it can access that data. Then the first thing that it needs to do is actually figure out what the tournament dates are. Like, when am I available? How much would it cost? Where am I going to eat? And when can I get the tickets? And it just like goes through this process for all 3 days of my itinerary. When the agent is ready, it'll send you a notification on your phone or on your laptop and you can check what the agent has done, review it. It did pretty well. It figured out essentially that the tournament is basically happening from like March 12th to March 15th. Then it figured out that my meetings on March 12th end at like 4:30, and it takes about an hour to go from here to SFO because of the traffic. So it figured out like what time of flights actually work for me. And then it figured out basically like which hotel I'm gonna stay at, when I'm attending the matches, and where should I be eating. Everybody has like some sort of like uninteresting parts of the job, like researching, looking here, doing this. You just want to get to the thing. And Agent lets me do that.
Okay, thanks, Jay. So like, I think it's important for us to say like, and maybe this looks cool to you, maybe this looks scary to you, depending on who you are and whether you're watching or on our panel of guests here. Like, this is just the beginning. This is the baby step, right? Like right now, what you're seeing is it like you can connect your Google Calendar, you can connect your Gmail. There's a bunch of other connectors in there like HubSpot and things like that. And it will use those and take action on your behalf to, like you said, close the laptop, go away, come back. All the things are done for you. And yes, you could lightly research prices before. You could lightly have it go and think of itineraries, but you couldn't have it compare that to your calendar. You couldn't have it go through prices in real time. And the next easy step of that logically is to completely book the whole thing for you. Right. And the only thing that's stopping that in this OpenAI case is that it's doing everything in the cloud. And so then you have to deal with security of your credit cards and all those kinds of things. But where that's going to change is what I'm going to show you right now. Jessica, go to Perplexity's comment and play that real quick, and then we'll talk about it. That one, yep. And so Google's coming out with tools like this. And then OpenAI is rumored to come out with a tool like this, and this is available now to, well, we'll talk about who it's available to in a second, but.
Pull up the clip of Jensen demoing Perplexity Labs.
I've pulled up a YouTube video showing Jensen demoing Perplexity Labs at GTC Paris. It should be at that moment
to
now.
formulate what is now agentic AI. Let's take a look at one example. Let me show you something. It's built on Perplexity.
Okay, we're good, Jessica. So like this is again, this is early too. This Perplexity, for those of you who don't know, is an AI search engine that's been around for a couple of years. They're not a challenge to go. I mean, they are in some ways, right? But they've only got a couple million, I don't know what, a couple 100 million searches a day or something like that versus 96 billion some for Google. So they're not really competition, but they are eating away at some of the market share. And they just released this browser. It's a competitor to Google Chrome. You can't go download it today unless you're part of their really super expensive AI subscription for like $200 a month, which I will probably join after this just for a month to test this out and then cancel it because I have other, spend too much on AI is what I do. But so we'll probably try to demo that either later on Outwired or in a future show. But the difference between that is that it runs on your computer locally. And so you're seeing the early stages of this stuff where you have to type everything in. Everything is eventually going to be voice, or it's going to intuit what you need. It's going to ask you what time of year you want to go camping. It's going to prompt you to say in February, like what time, or it's time to book your annual camping trip. Where do you think you want to go? Here's some suggestions I have for you based on what you liked before or what Google reviews you left. Jeremy was talking about, right? I know what you like and don't like because I have access to all this stuff. This is moving along at a speed and pace that like I have a hard time keeping up with. And it's going to be really interesting to start to think how this is going to impact the broader campground industry as a whole, because while we could take this in multiple different paths, the clear thing that you're looking at right now is a non-human entity browsing your website and making decisions based on your website and its content with a human being never setting eyes on it. And then that human being is getting a summary of what that agent read and that agent consumed and that agent understood. And then the human being is deciding based on that agent summary and not your website copy and not your agonizing, carefully crafted CTA button that you spent 2 weeks going back and forth with the marketing department about, right? And all this is changing and all of it's flattening. And I think it's just really interesting. So does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Well, my initial thought is that I see the internet and kind of way we communicate is actually we communicate with agents. We keep UIs available for when the human does want to actually look and explore the website, but it's going to be robust APIs that are going to be running the all industry, right? And how do we document that API and make sure that these agents and these AIs understand and they can use our APIs to make purchasing events happen and schedule reservations? And that's kind of where I see this next frontier of the internet.
Yeah, the internet, like the online experience, whatever you want to call it. There's not it's like the SEO thing we talked about a month ago. We don't really need a name for it. It just is. You just do it. As you do good SEO, like Jeremy was talking about, or you do good marketing, right? It's just something that you do. But yeah, I think it's amusing. It's amusing to me sometimes, and this goes to all technology and all facets of things, but specifically with AI right now is what we're talking about. It's interesting to me how it's only been really a good solid 20, 30 years since we've probably closer to 30. I guess we're in 2025. It keeps getting closer. A year passes every year. So good solid 30 years since we've really been using the internet to its capabilities, right? To browse websites, to do e-commerce, to learn things, to do social media, to do whatever. And people don't realize that websites kind of suck. They do. The reason that you agonize so much over the design of your website and the navigation and have it always be at the top and you can't hide it under a hamburger menu on desktop and you can't put your logo here because that might look bad or it might confuse. It's all about not confusing the customer. They're used to seeing the menu up there, so you have to do it that way. They're used to seeing a header image and having their attention grabbed, so you got to do it that way. And so all of this stuff has been designed and I hate to use the word dumbed down, but it has been dumbed down for the general consumer. Not that they need it dumbed down, but that every website is different. You have to make sure the CTAs are in the right place, that their eyes are going to the right place. And all that's about to change. Eventually it will go to APIs, Kurtis. But all that's going to be changed, and human beings are going to be better for it. We're going to find more information. We're going to discover more things. We're going to have easier booking experiences. And it's just going to be the way the internet works. And everybody thinks it's impossible because that's all they've ever known. But they forget that 25 years ago, Jeff Bezos was in a garage packing books. This stuff moves fast.
Well, sorry, I was going to say that,
Michelle.
I use AI in a different capacity where it's not for my campgrounds at this moment, but I use it more for my investor side. So I'm actually a partner in a prop AI business that we can actually use it, and it will cold call and make warm leads for people to sell us properties. And what it does is it actually talks to you. We call her Jen, but you would think that it's me on the phone. Yeah. And it answers in real time, and it's literally an AI that's almost created to be with, it has the investor information, but it calls you, has a whole conversation with you, and it can make 3,000 calls in a second. And so it's the way that things are moving. And so when I'm using it on that side of my life, I've been demoing this one AI system called Manus that does what that was just talking about, where you put in the information and say, I want to go on a trip to London, stay in the Ritz-Carlton. I need extra pillows on the bed. I need a chauffeured car at the hotel. I need the guy's name to be Greg. You can tell it whatever you want, and it will book the entire thing for you.
Yeah, let's be clear. Manus is the Chinese company. I've had a subscription to that for a long time. Manus is far more advanced than OpenAI's agent is right now.
Yeah. So it's been it's been an experience to kind of understand how that all works and to see where everything is moving to, because that's what we're doing. And I can see when we're on Facebook and I see the people in the, mom and pop campground owners, they're like, well, I know it was an AI that called me and I just hung up the phone. And it's well, this is where we're moving. And you kind of have to start, I'm not saying that you have to like jump on board right away, but you're going to have to start embracing these things, just as we did the internet way back when, and we don't take the phone calls as much anymore, or, you know, like it's bridging that.
Yeah.
Before you
Mychele,
go, Kurt, let me
wanna
just say,
spin
like,
on
it's been an hour, so I just want to say if anybody has a hard stop and they need to go, please just like we appreciate you having here. Please feel free to drop off. You don't have to hang out with us, but we're just going to keep going until the conversation kind of wraps.
I have a couple minutes left.
I have a couple minutes too, but Mychele, I wanted to say, like, you know, the flip side of the outbound call side is actually the inbound call side, right? So like everybody that is getting those calls, they're going to be all screened by an agent.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
So
we get a lot of calls that
right?
are
And
not
so like
converted, you know, and it's such a waste of time.
So I always kind of go back and I think about like, okay, what do I want is like, what would make my life easier? And so I was down at, you know, we all run very large businesses, right? And so on the 4th of July, that's our Super Bowl, but that's also when our families want to take a vacation as well. And so here we are trying to go on a family trip, you know, enjoy family time, and we're taking business calls the whole time. We've got problems, we're dealing with things, we got to make changes on our website. And the whole time I was sitting there thinking, an AI that could field some of these calls, that has a lot of these policy manuals, that has these procedures, right? It's going to take over those responsibilities immediately. And I just sat there, I was drinking a water and I was thinking
it's easy to do. Like, it's easy to, like, I cloned my voice to a company called 11 Labs, and I was messing with my buddy the other day. He's like a deep philosophical Catholic Christian guy. Like, it goes back into the deep history of the religion or whatever else. And I don't like I'm not religious, but I don't like really talking to him about that stuff. One, because I feel stupid, but two, because it just kind of bores me. And so I built like a clone of myself and deployed it. And I was like, just call this number and you can talk to him. And he was like really into the whole like history of Catholicism. And I gave him a role and whatever. He was talking to her for like an hour. It was in my voice though. But like Mychele, to your point, like they are going to have to adopt it. It is here. Google just announced a feature, I think last week or the week before, where they're going to start putting a button in search results where you can call to check prices. And it's not for travel or hospitality yet. Like I think it's for a couple verticals like plumbing and I don't know, locksmith and a few other places, right? But this is going to quickly expand to where you can just click a button. The AI will then start a call using Gemini. It will call and talk to the business and report back to you. And if you don't think this is going to increase your phone calls at your property, you better believe it is. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be, just like Kieron said, they're going to be closer to the top of the funnel. They're not going to be closer to the conversion. So you're going to have to then decide, Kurtis, I know you run a call center, right? Like you're going to have to decide, do I want more bodies in that call center for lower conversions, or do I want to put agents there?
Or do I want to expose an API to the Google hospitality sector?
Yeah. But Google's not there yet. But
so like,
for sure.
And like, right, what the hotels are doing. And I think like that exposing those APIs in our sector will get that. And that's I totally agree with you though, Brian. Like there's going to be millions of more phone calls that are happening, but like, have you guys seen like the way AIs talk to each other?
I've made my AIs talk to each other. It's pretty fun.
I'm sure.
Yeah, the whole different.
Yeah, like they're just. It's an experience. If you haven't seen it on this, if you're listening to this podcast, go look that up. Well, it's actually
like Brian at the beginning with the gurgle.
Yeah. That was my AI. It was just transitioning because I was late for the show.
So, I mean, I think it's an interesting thing, though. I mean, we're kind of in this weird pocket where it's like we've got to adapt to that, but we've also got to be able to manage the ones who aren't used to that. And so we've kind of go back and forth between both of them. So we've got to have the people who are still in the office that are going to answer the phone, and then we've got to be able to handle this AI stuff. But I think that AI, I mean, Brian and I were actually just talking about this with one of my operations directors a couple of days ago when we did a call about this, is having the ability to have the stuff taken off of your plate in your campgrounds to be able to free up your people to do things that are more customer service oriented. It's a wonderful place to be, because we're never going to have campgrounds that are fully AI or robotic or whatever. And we may, I mean, but I just don't think we're going to take that human element out of it too much, because that's what the joy of campgrounds is, right? Is the human experience. And, but to take all of that stuff off of the plate of our people who are at the front desk or on the grounds and be able to like make that easier on them so that they can go curate those experiences for those people is going to be so amazing for them. It'll
Yeah, the
just
human
free up so much
experience is
time.
the human experience is interesting to me. We're going to talk about that in Outwired when we do the 2025 to 2075 thing, because part of the research I did in the prompts with the agents that I had go out and look at this stuff for me is like like the human experience is important to camping, right? And
I
so
think
like,
so.
I agree with you, right? But what does that human experience mean? Is an interesting question, because like the human experience is, I would say, arguably more important from the guest perspective than it is from a staff perspective. So if a guest can still have a human experience, whatever that is defined as, whether it includes a human or doesn't include a human, who knows, right? None of us can predict more than 2-3 years out right now. Then that's interesting. Like, I don't know what that looks like or what that.
Brian, when you said project 2 to 3 months out,
Years,
the last
2-3
podcast
years.
I was on was 4 weeks ago. And we want to talk about operator, and it is obsolete 4 weeks later.
Yep.
Like it's moving way faster than like we give it credit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that it just depends on, again, like the campground. Like we have a family campground in Virginia that is completely family based, and we get probably anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 people in there during a busy weekend, which is pretty much almost every weekend, it seems like. But with that, like we have all these different experiences that are constantly happening. And when I've talked to the guests, like one of their favorite things is our managers just coming around when they've checked in and just saying, hey, are you guys good? Do you guys need anything? You know, I'm the manager here. Let us know, you know, you can call us, whatever. And that's like that human experience you can't take away. You know,
I'm just
like
going to
from
play
that
devil's advocate. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm not going to say I don't believe this, what's going to come out of my mouth, right?
Okay.
But imagine then a cute little robot that goes around to every site and asks, is there anything I can do for you? And they're like, yeah, I'd love an ice cream cone. Okay. And it opens up its head and makes an ice cream cone. That's better than a human.
I don't think that experience, I think that experience will happen. I don't think it'll fly in every campground. Does that make sense?
No. Oh, no. And again, I'm not saying I believe it.
I think but I do think that there are going to be places where people go for just that experience.
Yeah. Like the Tesla diner that just opened up.
Yes.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I agree with you. I think there has to be some kind of human experience from our side, from the owner's side, that's still involved. And that's probably the one thing that I think would probably survive longer than anything else, is the person walking around and just being sociable.
Yeah. But I also think that everything goes in phases, like everything throughout life. Like as you're going through, you realize that, okay, you know, this is really cool and it's innovative and everybody's on board with it. And then like a couple years later, everybody's like, well, don't you just miss it when somebody would come up and just have a conversation with you? Like, it's just these different things, right?
Sure.
You go through life and you're like, oh, it's so cool that we can do these things, like big rigs. So you started off with these tiny little camper vans, then they start getting bigger as they go. And now all of a sudden I'm starting to see people go back down. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's just the rotation of life. We just constantly like expand, we jump on board with the new thing, and then that becomes normal. And then we're like, wouldn't it be nostalgic to go back to this? So
yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the future plays out for sure. I usually pride myself on like seeing early trends and figuring out where things are going and what's the next up and coming social network and what's the next technology. I can't see more than 2 years in advance. I don't have any clue what's going to happen. Like we didn't get to it today, but I had it pulled up on my screen. But like Donald Trump has this AI action plan that he was talking about today. He's going to talk about it on the All In podcast, I guess, live later tonight. So he's got like an action plan where he's going to try to, apparently like the whole big headline was lower regulations on AI companies, which is I think good and maybe bad, but it is what it is, right? Like we're not going to stop the race with China. That's a whole other discussion we can get into at another date and time. But
I think it depends on which side of the AI you're on.
Yeah, I totally agree with that statement right there. Like, you know, I don't think anyone here wears tinfoil hats and is thinking Skynet, but at the same time, we should put in strong regulation against Skynet.
Well, we should, but that's and again, like, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. I know we're already over a few minutes, right? But that's the problem is that existential race between the U.S. and China. If we decide to regulate it, China doesn't regulate it. Like, you're going to get to the point where you get to, and this sounds crazy, I've said it before, I think publicly, and people look at me like I do have a tinfoil hat on. You're going to get to the point where China develops a super intelligence first, or we develop a super intelligence first, and then the US is like, do I really want China to be able to get a super intelligence too? I'll just turn off their power. And that's literally what's going to be, right? That's what's going to happen. That's what's in danger of happening. Or the general on the Chinese side will give the missiles control to the AI, right? Which is your Skynet scenario. And then the US is like, well, we're a little bit smarter. We don't want to give control of our missiles, but you're not going to be able to defend against an AI that controls the missiles. So then you're going to have to do it too. And then, right?
Yeah, no, I always have that like whole situation play. Oh, I come from a military family, so
you don't have to worry about Skynet. Like it's the same thing as us and ants, right? Like we don't like ants in our house, but we don't get so angry at ants that we go and try to kill every ant in the entire world. We're going to be like, and this is tinfoil hat again, right? You wait and see how well this ages. We're going to be insignificant to AI. It will not matter. The pollution that we try to put in the oceans, it will just clean up in 10 seconds with technology that it's invented.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, it's the truth. It's where we're going. And it's just, we keep moving faster and faster. And as it's developing, it starts to move even faster because then it starts just helping the development and we're just consistently going. And
that's what Zuckerberg, sorry, I didn't interrupt you. We were just lagging. Go ahead, please finish.
Oh, I was going to say, so we're either the leaders in it or we're falling behind, and you never want to be the ones who are falling behind because then you can't control it.
Yeah, all you have to do is look at this. Look at Zuckerberg giving $100 million paychecks to people to steal them from Gemini and OpenAI, buying Scale AI or, buying a stake in it, whatever, really bought it for like $16 billion, I think, or something like that. All these companies are signing contracts for powers and data centers in the tens and the hundreds of billions of dollars. Google and Meta, and I don't know what Apple's doing. God rest if you're invested in their stock, you should sell it now. But all you have to do is look at the numbers that are being spent. This is not a guess. Mm-hmm. These companies know exactly what they're doing. They're wagering the entire future of their companies on this technology, and it's moving very fast. And they're beholden to quarterly reports, and they're doing this.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, that's the thing is that it's just, I just went through this whole thing where I was talking to, Chat GPT, and I was like, because at the end of the day, Google and all those things, it's great, but you're going to have to be able to pop up in your chat. Like, what's the best campground in this area? It needs to pop up in chat. Like, we've got to start focusing on getting those, and you're either ahead of the game or you're behind it. And so I'm starting to figure out okay, well, how do I pop up in chat? How do I get recognized as this in chat? How does
I have an answer for you? You can just call me, Mychele.
I know we had that conversation. Yeah. So now we're working on the back end stuff going, okay, what do we need to put where? So, I mean, but that's the thing is that's what you have to do. And now that we're moving into this new age, a lot of people are behind the ball already on it. I mean, I'm behind the ball.
I'm behind the ball on it. It's literally how fast it's moving.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at me like I'm 10 years ahead of them. I probably am, but I'm still 20 years behind where I need to be.
Well, you're 10 years ahead of me, but so that leaves me 50 years behind everybody else or where I need to be. So, but it's a learning process, and, at least we're starting to jump on board. I mean, that's where I find it so hard with some of the mom and pops who are well, we're not booking. And I'm like, it's because you're not doing the right things and you're not putting the right websites in place, and you're not making sure that you're showing up in these chat situations, and you're not putting yourself out there, and you're not, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, on social media.
Yeah. One of the things that I find so hard about the advancement and how fast things are moving is so again, Brian, we talked 4 weeks ago about Operator. Well, 3 months ago, we started building our new website, right? Where it's going to be it's focused on AI and ranking in AI and how do we structure our data sets and give it the social proof, and how do I position myself to show up in every chat every time somebody is looking for one of the best campgrounds in our areas. And Operator is obsolete 4 weeks later. And so we were building towards that. And we're okay, so now we're building toward, and a lot of what we did, right? The foundation still sounds good, but that's obsolete. And so that's it's hard to stay up on it. So Brian,
that's that was the struggle with us, right? For our marketing clients, I spent a year and a half coming together with a plan, and I had to wait to see what Google did at their I/O in May. but we had to come up with a plan that was balancing, like somebody talked about the human side of this thing, right? Like the humans are still browsing the websites right now. They are. And so you still need to balance the look and the feel for them and optimize the conversion path to them so that they're making a booking, but also you need to do the thing for robots. And so like it took us a long time, but we came up with like, we have master SEO plans we're giving our clients now that say like, here's what you need to build. Here's what we're going to build. Here's the pages. Here's the content. Here's the text. We know exactly what it is. Like, this is it. Like, just approve it. And we're going to give it to our devs and we're going to go to town. But that took a long time to come up with. And there was a lot of trade-offs that I wanted to do from an AI side that I can't do yet, just to make that, to create that perfect balance where we are now. But yeah, like I'm confident that'll hold up for probably 6 or 12 months max. And then like, it'll still be a good foundation. Like it'll be a foundation at that point, right? Like you're talking about, Kurtis.
Yeah. I don't know if you're a firm believer in 2027, but that's what the math says. Is that so sometime in August 2027, that's when AI crosses over and it's now smarter than us.
I mean, it's already smarter than me.
I was going to say, I feel like it's smarter than me.
I know.
Half
Like,
the time I plug things in there,
no, sorry, let me
like,
rephrase
how
that.
do I do this? And it's like pops up with this formula and I'm like, cool. Okay, we're good.
It's smarter than the smartest human in every
all combined, right? Is what you're talking about. That's like the
all combined. And so that's really interesting to me. And so that's supposed to happen mathematically sometime August 2027.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it happens before then. Like whether we know about it before then, we might not. But it's coming really, really fast, and I don't know what this world's going to look like, but I know that you better pay attention to it. It's not optional anymore.
Well, and I think, that plays into all kinds of things. It's just, like where a job's going to be, where are people going to be working? Like, how is this all going to come together? There's so many up in the air questions, like just from a broad perspective, not just from a campground perspective, but it's.
I mean, it's everything. Nobody understands, like nobody knows. Like I think 95% of jobs are going away.
I think so too.
There's my tinfoil hat, right?
Right.
But nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody in government is talking about this. Nobody's talking about this. Like there are people in my circles in the AI world who are talking about this, but nobody wants to say it publicly because it scares people and it gets people nervous.
Yeah.
Like we have to talk about this or otherwise it's going to be even worse.
Everybody's just going to go on vacation, Brian. They're all going to
eventually they will, but that's a good thing, right? But we have to get over this. Like it's going to be 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be 5 to 10 years of really painful, like the wealth gap is going to grow even bigger.
I 100% agree with that. It's going to get wider, and it's definitely something that as I'm watching everything, like even the other day I saw a robot that does massages, and apparently it does it better than humans. Like you can program it completely to do everything, and it's all run off of like, I don't know, but it was amazing. And I was like, well, there you go. There's another job that's going to go. Like, it's crazy how much all of this is changing and how fast.
Yeah. I mean, you're not even talking about humanoid robots, which we talked about on this show and Outwired before, that are coming probably in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
You wait till you see what the prediction we have on Outwired is, if you guys have a chance to watch it. But like the humanoid robots, in less than 3 years, you'll be able to, the only bottleneck will be manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to buy one for less than like, I don't know, 75 cents an hour to work around your campground and do everything you want.
Yeah.
Like, and it'll be like, be able to mow the lawn. It'll be able to clean up the miniature golf course. It'll be able to clean the swimming pool. It'll be able to do everything.
Yeah. And when they start looking more like humans, it makes it even more of a human experience. I mean, you guys see all those crazy movies. Haven't you guys seen those movies where they like have the AIs that or the robots that look just like humans?
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean when you talk about the human experience, right? Like, and like, I won't take credit for this. I first heard Gary Vaynerchuk utter it, but like, I fully believe it. Like anybody who's alive right now, who's under like, let's say 40, their grandchildren will have people who are married to humanoid robots. They will.
How weird.
I know, but it will happen.
Yeah, I can see that happening. It's just, it's such a weird, like, when do we start completely like moving away from just having, when you're just at a point of, is that person a human or is that a robot?
Well, that's the whole argument, right? So it's really interesting. You should go look it up. It's by, there's a woman, you probably know her. I want to say her name is Corey or Cody. She's a real estate lady on YouTube.
Cody Sanchez.
Yeah, Cody
I know.
Sanchez. So she sat down with Gary Vaynerchuk, and they talked about this stuff, and they were talking about like where's the line of cross, right? Okay, and I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just telling you what the conversation was. Like I do believe the grandkid thing, but I'm not saying I believe all the other stuff. But they were talking about where's that line where you become not a human versus a robot, because like there's already all the boob jobs and the lip jobs and the Botox and like all the things you're putting in your body already. So what's the point where are you already not human? Where's the line?
Well, it's like that Stepford Wives movie from like, what was it, the 90s or the early 2000s or something, where like Nicole Kidman was in it and they had a little button and you could literally change her physically however you wanted her. And
yeah, I mean,
she'd go make you a sandwich, or she'd like, go to the grocery store and buy you potato chips. Or
I think that makes society worse when that happens, for the reasons that we stop respecting certain categories of people, right? So I don't know that I want that, but it's absolutely going to happen.
Yeah, it's a scary thought to like get into all of the tin hat situations that this whole thing can spiral down into. But I do think, going back to all of it, it's crazy how fast everything is evolving and how much we have to adapt, and just the resistance against it from so many people. And I just don't think they realize how much that's going to hurt their own businesses by resisting so much.
Yeah, imagine not answering the call from Google.
Yeah. Did you guys watch so Tesla released their autonomous cab.
Oh, the robotaxi?
And Optimus, which is a robot for them, was the catering company and the bartenders for the release.
Oh, yes, except they were human controlled. That was like a year ago you're talking about when you announced it. That was almost a year ago.
No. This happened like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, maybe I missed it then. I don't know. I remember like when he first announced the robotaxi, they had robots that were catering.
No. They're releasing the robotaxi in response to it.
I don't know about that then.
And so I'm like, those robots, but the robots kind of stole the show on that release. And so like
they're a $15,000 humanoid robot you can buy from China right now, and there's videos on YouTube of people having them wash their car. Like it's here, guys. Like I'm sorry that I'm the bearer of maybe bad or good news to the people who are watching, but this is not coming. This is here.
Yeah. And all I want to know is how I can get one.
Like,
there's a lot of people, right?
And against somebody giving me a chef that's programmed with all of the Michelin rated recipes in it, that I could just walk home and say, hey, I want this, and it whips it up. I totally.
Well, that's the thing. If you talk about the 40-year-olds or anybody who's under 20 anybody who has a kid who is in elementary school still, they will never know a world ever where they grow up and aren't able to have Michelin recipes on demand, a robot chef in their kitchen, AI with them everywhere they go. I've had these conversations to the terrible detriment of my girlfriend, who probably wants me to shut up a lot of the times. But
so Brian's in his element right now.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife has told me that we can't talk about AI at the house. So
I wonder, you're going to see survival of restaurants, for sure, because there's the same human element. People are going to want to go out and socialize. But I think there's a whole lot less physical restaurants. But does that mean then that you can license a recipe from the great steak shop in Portland that you want to just download to your robot and have for one meal and pay them a fee? I bet there is. There's a business there.
I mean, but think about the amazingness of how that would work out, though. Is you can go to your little, hometown restaurant and have an experience from a French chef in France for this one recipe that he is specialized and everybody knows about around the world.
Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing.
And
they would still get paid on it.
And then and you would probably, it would be more of a social experiment as well, because the reason you go to the restaurant now is to see other humans, right? That's the reason why you're going camping, is you're going camping to have a unique human experience.
Well, in that though,
what happens when the robots
hopefully not very many people.
Place to have human interaction and all of that.
Well, what happens when the robots want to go camping though? Are you going to ban them, not you guys, but are you going to ban them like car camping? I don't want robots. We only take humans. What if they've got a credit card and they're in society and they want to pay you money?
I don't know. There's a lot of.
That's an interesting question, Brian. Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I haven't even thought about that.
Anyway, we should probably go. It's one.
Yeah. I actually have a hard stop here in 5 minutes.
You had a hard stop 20 minutes ago, man. Nobody believes you anymore.
I bumped it. They said they were okay. I was really enjoying the AI conversation.
All right. Well, any final thoughts, Mychele or Kurtis?
No, I mean, this was all great. Like, we're going to have to continue this conversation on the next one.
I know. It'll probably be obsolete by the time we get to the next one, Mychele. I'm only every 4 weeks.
Honestly, that's probably true because by that time we're going to be talking about, hey, did you guys see this new robot in a campground?
Well, GPT-5 might be out by that time, so it's supposed to come out in the next few weeks, is the rumor. So we'll see.
All right.
And they already have a model that beat the Math Olympiad. Google and ChatGPT do. That's not not going to release supposedly for a couple months. So anyway, all right. Tell us where we can learn more about Bison Peak Ventures.
Well, you can actually follow me on Instagram at Mychele Bisson, which I always talk about how we're, innovating and changing our campgrounds and tips on how to buy campgrounds with no money down. And then you can also do it at rvresortinvestment.com.
Awesome. And Kurtis, Our Journey?
You can find Our Journey at ourjourney.com, as well as our management division, which is advancedoutdoormanagement.com. Awesome. Feel free to reach out to us. We also have our socials as well: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Well,
thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of MC Fireside Chats. If you're not sick of hearing from me, I will be in 34 minutes hosting another 2-hour show, Outwired, with Greg Emmer and Scott Barr. We're going to dive into the future of campgrounds and all that kind of stuff. If not, we'll see you next week on another episode of MC Fireside Chats. Take care, guys. We'll see you.
Bye, guys.
See ya.